We are making the best multiplayer smithing and shopkeeping RPG game the world has ever seen. I dare you to try and prove me wrong, because we don't seem to have any competition. We got smithing with physics, we got selling, we got heating of metals, we got a nice voxel environment, and we got multiplayer. And while you're here, you might as well go and wishlist the game on Steam. The link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. Now let's get to the video. So to answer one important question, why am I making this game? Right, so another important question, why should you be excited for the game? And to answer that, I'll have to explain the meat of the game. You are the townsmith, and you have to produce your own wares, which you do by smacking materials really hard using physics. And physics in games are cool. You'll be able to set up your shop how you want it and decorate it accordingly. To follow the fantasy RPG, successfully selling wares will grant you XP to level up. Leveling up allows for more tools, more workbenches, higher class customers, better materials, and a bunch more things to craft and sell to please these higher class customers. You know, progression. You'll also have the ability to hire adventurers to go out and attempt to gather more rare materials for you. Equip these adventurers with weapons, tools, and armor, which you craft to give them better chances at finding good loot for you. You can also choose to take up tasks given by travelers at the board in front of your shop. This might be the local farmer who needs a bunch of horseshoes, or a traveling hero in dire need of the best sort of the lands. Get paid well and gain some good reputation for your hard work, and oh yeah, the game can be both single player and multiplayer, depending on how you wish to play. In the previous video I showed you how the project started out and all the nice functionality we made then, but now it's time to make it look good. We knew we wanted some kind of town or village, so I started out by planning how the town should look. Yeah, I'm somewhat of an artist, but enough showing off, now to making it. I originally thought of generating the terrain, but I quickly realized that it would be completely overkill to do that for this game. So even though the nerdy side of me is crying at this point, the work smart not hard part of me is very happy with this decision. So I started working on the environment in Magicka instead. And here you go. We got walls, a river, bushes, rocks, trees, grass, and a path, and these cozy little houses. And I even made a windmill to make the whole scene come a bit more alive. And then of course I changed the skybox, which makes it look a lot better. I think this is a big step up from the testing scene, so I'm looking forward to working in this scene instead. Alright, so I'm back in the old environment anyway. I realized that this is just better for testing and more modular. A big part of the game is the ability to run your shop, and the main functionality of this is, well, the shop system. So first of all, we needed a way to put our items up for sale. We immediately thought of a shelf-like system, so I got working on just that. First things first, I wanted to stick to the physics-based floating item feeling. I made it so the item would be floating above the sell shelf. The tricky part here were catching all the different cases of this. What if the player is holding it? What if the player is not holding it? What if the player is trying to grab it? And so on. A bunch of issues were surrounding this since the pickup system wasn't built for non-players to grab the object. So I did quite a bit of restructuring to the pickup system, and now it's nice and modular. So now if you have an item, you can give it to the sell shelf and it will float above it. You can also nicely grab it and it simply just works. It's also super satisfying to throw items at it and watch them slowly float to the center. The pricing of items are still kept on the game manager, and I'll add the ability for the player to change the pricings in the future. And now to actually having some customers buy the items. There are a few elements to this, such as the customers themselves, having a checkout counter, a queue system, interest in the wares, and much more. I'll skip over all of this rather briefly, but let's start from the beginning with the customers. I made it so they check item shelves are not being looked at by others, picks that one and then walks up to it. At this stage, they simply choose off of chance whether they pick the item or not. If not, they might shuffle to a different shelf or leave. If they do like the item, they will pick it and go to the checkout counter. The way the customer picks up the item is actually the same pickup system as the player uses, which is super nice. So they also carry the items using physics. And also, I really don't want to give people the wrong impression of game development. What I just skipped over about the customers was actually about a full day's work. But now onto the checkout counter. And here I got quite the challenge. I need the customers to queue up nicely, so I had to make a full queue system which allows for a set max amount of people in the queue. If the queue is full, they will just leave. If there is space in the queue, they will occupy the next available space, and if they are the first in line, they will trigger the option for the player to sell the item to them or not. What you're seeing at this point is a placeholder for some kind of bargaining system further down the line. I'm very interested in hearing what you guys have in mind for this shop and bargaining system. Let me know in the comments below. This still is not something that we fully figured out ourselves. And just as a quick insert, if you have any other ideas for the game, there is a dedicated channel in the Discord for sharing ideas and voting for your favorite ones. And while you're at it, please do leave a like and let me know in the comments what you think about the game, and you might as well subscribe, right? So something I'd like to shine some light on is the fact that the game is using a bunch of systems standing on their own. The structure of these is super neat and something I can really recommend you do with your own development. Majority of these are using the singleton pattern, so if you're not familiar with it, I really recommend you do familiarize yourself. I'll gladly make a video on it if it's something you'd be interested in. A great example of this is the pop-up text system in Forging Ahead. I can call this from any script anywhere with just normal single player code, and the system will handle all the networking, timing, spawning and so on all by itself. This makes it super easy to integrate text pop-ups in the future for other setups, and makes the project much easier to scale since it's just one line of code. Of course this system is just a small example, but you get the idea. I do the same for the pickup system as well as other systems. And this is really it. What do you think about the state of the game at this point? And now you've also gotten quite the sneak peeks as to what's to come in future videos, so hopefully you are as excited to watch those as I am to share. If you happen to enjoy, please do remember to go wishlist the game. It greatly helps us rank on Steam and also shows people that you're genuinely interested in the game. A like, comment and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm is much appreciated as always, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.